Gemini full moon today. What is the fixed awareness from which all your Gemini stuff is lingering around, floating around in relation to? Gemini is about the relation of the air to the earth through the medium of people and things. It's a light assessment of contrast so that values can be ascertained without falling deep into stagnation in the well of emotions. Because the emotions have to be used as fuel in order to propel forward into Cancer. And then in life, through doing things and activity, that's where they find out what the emotions are. So we're in this nodal axis shift from Taurus Scorpio to Aries Libra. The value of the cultivation of the self and the release of what that has been for us. So let's look at the fixed points real quick here to help us understand this Gemini new moon. So when we're young, we are, actually when we're born into different household dynamics, situations. For some, religious icon, religious teachings become the bedrock of the household from which we rise. For others, it is service to one's nation, to their brothers and sisters, to their communities, to ideals. For some, it's about learning who they are in relation to all the stuff going on in their house. I mean, it's endless. A lot of expressions here. The value we hold within ourselves is brought to expression through Leo. And so we settle on these imitations of who and what we could be, because those imitations are better than what we feel we truly are. Because we never put the effort into cultivating true value within ourselves or in what we do. And so mimicry was the next best thing, the safest thing. But when you get to Leo energy, it's 12th house is Cancer, which is the emotional flow. If the Leo energy doesn't hold true value within themselves, then they become martyr for something else. They put it off into a higher hierarchy, a higher expression, religion, political or philosophical ideals, systems of knowledge, society, struggles to try and bring balance into form within themselves and outside themselves. So to rewild the child within, to find true value is you have to cultivate what it is that honors your true expression, regardless of all the expectations of the world and other people. You know, if your instrument is off, doesn't matter if the equation is wrong to begin with. It doesn't matter how many inventions and how awesome the technique is, because the assessment is wrong. So Taurus is about finding true assessment within yourself through the process of life. And it's about learning how to release false expectation, who you aren't, because there was some value need that you found a home in for other people or situations and dynamics. So imagine you need to do that for yourself now. In order to carry your own fire, you first have to find it. And then when you find it, you hold it. And then as you hold it, you learn how to feed it. And that's the process of Taurus to Leo. And in Taurus, it's about what other people take or tell, give, power dynamics in relation to value, worth, things that value and worth are based upon, which are primal, and then the cultivation of those things. And so there's a lot of Five of Pentacles type energy, Seven of Pentacles type energy. At least towards the middle to end of that dynamic. The Taurian themes. So you're bringing this spirit into awareness of the self, this Gemini new moon. Use the Gemini sextile energy, the dynamic flow energy, into Leo to feed back into yourself. What are the values that your ego holds, and what's the true value of that egoic construct, knowing the world's changing and the ego can no longer live in a world that's becoming more and more fascist and falling apart. We've got power structure games that have been going on for a long time, playing themselves out, and we're going to have to play into that because that's the medium from which we're here now. Now the extent varies, you know. You don't need to get involved unless you do, unless you get pulled into it. But if you don't stand for yourself, you stand for something else in this world. And if you can't figure out what the self is, then you lulled into the storm. So what is the belief you could hold in relation to this Gemini energy that you are? How do you anchor that in through action that benefits the self in relation to a changing world? It's about growth, it's about the student mind, it's about being open to release, learning to release. At the very least, when you do that, you can honor the growth in other people, and you can see progression, and you can be less judgmental of the self. That's all I wanted to say. Thanks for watching, listening, and being. I was outside this morning and a little squirrel fell from way up there, bounced off the ground, ran up the tree. That must have been freaky. Survived.